Alright, what's going on, guys? It's Texas Guy here. Today is another story time video. This one's more of a scary, spooky, scary time. Story time. But it's pretty much one that happened, kind of like a couple years ago. A couple years ago. But I remember, it was this one time when I was going to, I think it's called the Donkey Lady Bridge. And pretty much, it was me, my cousin, and my brother-in-law, which is my sister's husband. Us three were just going to the Donkey Lady Bridge. It's a pretty known kind of place in San Antonio, which is where I live at. It's where I live at. And it's kind of far. South side. And there's stories of that place, the Donkey Lady Bridge. Okay, so it was a pretty cold night, and we were just driving down over there. Okay, so we were heading down there. It was around 9, 10, 11 maybe. It was dark, let's say that. It was very dark. The moon was out. No, I think this was my first time going there. Yeah, I think it was my first time, and I was scared out of my, everything. I was scared. I'm not gonna lie. I was terrified. I've never done this kind of exploration kind of stuff. I've always saw it on YouTube. Sam and Kobe, where they would explore haunted stuff and stuff like that. I was oh, I want to be like them. But I'm not white, so... But anyways... So we were driving down there, they were telling me all the scary stories and trying to scare me and all that stuff. I was okay, yeah. I wasn't believing them at first. But I was also kind of scared, but I didn't want them to know that, because I knew, if I was scared, they're probably going to keep trying to, tell me other stuff to make me even more scared, you know what I mean? To mess around with me. But anyways, we were driving down... And I don't know why, but I just had this deep sinking feeling in my gut. You know what I mean? It's a bad vibe was going on. And they were both in the front. My brother-in-law was driving. My cousin, my older cousin, he was in the passenger seat, and I was in the back. Okay, I was in the back of the car. So I was all alone back there. And it was dark. I was looking out the windows, pitch black, forest. Just an empty road. A car would pass through every now and then. I was oh my goodness. Anyways, as we were going down, that feeling kind of intensified as we got closer. And once we got to the bridge, it was super duper dark. There was nobody there, and it was pitch black. You could not see anything. And for some reason, they had the bright idea to freaking do this one little thing that they said that can bring out the Donkey Lady or whatever, where you turn off your lights, your car lights, and then you honk, or I think you just stay there. But they did that. They turned off all the lights. I don't know if they turned off the car itself, or I think actually, yeah, they turned off the car. Turned off the car, pitch black. You could not see nothing. There was no light in there. They turned off the car. And then we waited in silence. I was terrified, because, Mexicans, we don't do this crap. Even though, brother-in-law and my cousin were both, we're all Mexican. And we were still doing that crap, I was stupid, sorry, sorry guys, sorry my people. Anyways, they did that. I think nothing really happened when they did that, but I was terrified. I was waiting for some kind of knock or some kind of noise to come in or something like that. And I was just kind of looking down at my feet, because I did not want to look at the windows and just see something that I wasn't supposed to see, I don't know, something a shadow or something, and I'm gonna be oh crap. But anyways, after that, we got out and walked on the bridge. It was pitch black. You could not see anything. You could see the trees every now and then, because we had like flashlights. Well, we kind of used our phone flashlights and like some other ones that he brought, but they were like from his work, so they were like these like utility lights kind of. But they still lit up the way, and it was terrifying. Like they were. I was trying to be like in the middle, but like they were like side by side. There was like no way I could be in the middle, because then if I was in the middle, I would have to like look, check my six. Like I would have to look behind my back, and I was just kind of scared the whole time. I was recording and stuff. And there was some people that showed up. You know what I mean? And it was kind of interesting. I don't know, like everybody was kind of like focused on their own thing. I kind of felt a little bit safe seeing that there was other people, but my cousin and my brother-in-law did not want to be around them. They wanted to go on their own way, and I followed, and I regret it. Yeah. So we went to this one little like trail that's kind of like off the path. That's kind of like into the forest, and apparently there's like there's this house. It's like abandoned over there. Apparently it's like a broken down, I don't know if it's like a house or a shed. I've never been over there, never will. But they went there one time and they told me like something scary happened. Like they saw like some kind of like shadow like running into the forest or something like that. I was like, heck no. But anyways, we were going there, and while we were like trying to get onto the trail, because it was like in the forest, pushing past the leaves and all that stuff, we heard like something like splash in the water, and we were like, what was that? And we were like just all scared, and I think that was like what made us kind of like turn back, because we didn't know what the heck that was. It's like something just splashed in the water. And then we met up with these like girls, like they were kind of just sitting down like near the river, and I didn't really get to see who they were, didn't really get to meet them. We just kind of just went like, oh, hi, nice to meet you. And then we just walked away. Well, actually, no, we didn't say nice to meet you. We just said, oh, hey, what's up? And then we just walked by. But like, it was kind of weird because they were like facing towards the river, so I never got to see their face. So, well, trust me, this is going to be more important in the later areas. But anyways, as we were walking down, we went back to the bridge, and then we started doing some crazy doohickey crap, you know what I mean? We're trying to like get answers. We're like, oh, if you're here, do this or do that. And occasionally we would hear some crap, we would hear like the rails of the bridge get like tapped, like if someone like had thrown something at it, or if like someone like was like knocking on it, because the rails were like metal, and like when you hit like two metal poles together, that's kind of like the sound that they make. It was like a metallic sound like that. And at first I was like, I do not like this. Can we go home, please? Which did not work. We did not go home. Yeah, we were doing that for like, I don't know how long it was. We were doing that like a lot. And then we would have like these little sessions where we would go into the dark and then like turn off our lights and then just be like, if you're here, make a noise, or show us that you're here, or something like that. And we would be like deep in the forest, turn off all the lights and just wait for something. And yes, we would hear stuff, like we would hear like branches being crushed, stuff being thrown and stuff like that. And sometimes both of them would try to like scare each other, or just scare anybody. They would grab like, sometimes they would like grab a stick or something and throw it at the other, try to get them to run. And it was, they ran. It was kind of funny, but like at the same time I was like, I don't know, because I'm not really a good runner. I mean, if I have to run from something, I will, but like not the best. But yeah, they did all that joke and stuff. And while we were on the bridge, we kind of met up with these other people, and we were just like chilling. We were just talking to them, telling them stories, and then they were telling us stories. And then all of a sudden, from like I forgot which side it was. It was like towards the river, but like far towards the river. We heard like this. We heard these like loud screaming. You know, like this, like someone had just screamed. I don't know how to say it. I don't know. Someone was screaming. Let's just say that. It was a girl. It was girls actually that were screaming, and they were like, it was coming from like the far down the river. And then we were like, what the heck was that? Because we were like, you know, what was that? We thought someone was in trouble, you know? We were just like, what is going on over there? Anyways, so yeah, that happened. But then we remembered that by that area down the river was those girls. Those girls were like sitting over there in that area, like in that distance. They were just listening to music and stuff, you know, just chilling by the river. And we heard screams coming from over there, which sounded like girl screams. And so, you know, I was terrified. Like, in my mind, the donkey lady came down from the freaking trees and just killed all of them, okay? That's what I was thinking. And I was just like, oh crap, I do not want to stay here anymore. Can we go? And they were like, nope, we're gonna stay right here. Matter of fact, we're gonna go check out what was going on over there. You know, we're gonna go check out the screams. And I was like, son, you cannot be serious. And I did the stupidest thing ever. I went with them. And then we went to go explore and see what was the root of those screams. We were walking towards the screams. The people that we were talking to, they stayed by the bridge. They were like, nah, we're not going over there. But, you know, us, we decided to go over there for some reason. We're Mexican, and we decided to go investigate the screaming, which was, you know, we would be dead in a horror movie. You know, whatever killed them, you know, is probably gonna kill us. As we like got there to the area where the girls were at, they were not there anymore, surprisingly. Like, nothing of them was there, like none of them. And we didn't know what the heck happened to them, because, you know, like the only way, or at least, actually I don't know if like the only way to get out is through the bridge, because that's how we entered. We entered through the bridge. That's how we only, like, that's the only place we can enter from. At least that we know of. Like, or at least that I know of, because I don't really go there that much. They probably know, like, other areas, but I don't know. Like, to me, I just know the parking lot is by the bridge. The only way they could get out is through the bridge, because, like, they were on the other side of the river, unless there's, like, another trail that led out to the other side. But anyways, they were gone. And, you know, that was, like, the creepiest part for us. We're like, where did they go, you know? Because, you know, genuinely, like, where did they go? And at that point, you know, I was just done with this, you know. I was terrified that the freaking donkey lady was going to jump out from the top of the trees and then just, like, snatch one of us, like, one by one. And then, you know, we would be making our own screams and stuff like that. You know, luckily that didn't happen. But anyways, these guys decided to freaking go deeper into the forest. Like, they wanted to go into the forest to see if we could find them, which I don't know why. There's like other people that could like search for them, okay? Not us. We're not trained to search and find people, you know. Anyways, I was like, can we go home, please? I want to go home. And finally we did. We finally went home. We're like, okay, we're gonna go home, and snacks and stuff like that. And like along the car ride, you were like, oh, don't you want to be like a person that finds ghosts and stuff like that, and YouTube it or something like that? I was like, no. But then they were like, oh, you want to be this since you were a kid? Kind of, not really, kind of. Because I did kind of want to be like that, but like not really as in like chasing ghosts, just like a YouTuber in general. Because, you know, I did have like my old channel, which is still up to this day. I think it is up. I don't know. And I remember like I posted like a video about like exploring a haunted shed, like spending 24 hours in a shed. I don't know. It was like when I was like 10 or 9, I don't know. But yeah, it's one of those videos. Just a random Mexican kid, doing stuff. Well, it was actually with my cousin. I was mostly like the cameraman. But anyways, yeah. We left. We got home. I was terrified because I thought the ghost followed us. But the whole time I was like terrified because I've seen like a bunch of those ghost videos where like they say the ghost follows you if you like mess with them or something like that. But anyways, yeah, that was my scary night. Not that well. I mean, if you were in my shoes, you would be terrified. But like from now, as I'm saying it, like reciting it now, it wasn't that scary. Well, kind of, but not really, But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video once again. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.